Hello everyone, what's up? Adam here, and today I will be doing a reaction to the latest live stream for Dying Light 2. So Dying Light 2 has been a while. People have been asking for it since the first game came out back in 2015, and it was a massive success. I was iffy on the game. I recently played it on PC. I didn't really like the core game, but the following expansion really elevated the game. I loved it. It really turned me into a fan. So if you are going to get the game, they just released a platinum version of the game, which comes with all the DLC and everything. Yeah, get that with the following DLC. It's so much better with that. But yeah, the game is been in development hell apparently for a couple of years. I saw it back at E3 2019. It looked amazing, but then the pandemic hit, and they kind of just had to endure that whole tragic event because it's just no one ever predicted that. So games got delayed, projects got delayed, and it was a whole hellish nightmare for a lot of people. But anyway, they released a new trailer and a new live stream. They're kind of doing the same thing they did with Cyberpunk 2077 with the whole episodic live streams leading up to the game. Let's just hope it turns out better than that. Oh, I got a new subscription. Thank you so much, Johnny Games. But yeah, let's get right into it. Hopefully there's no copyrighted music into this because, yeah, I just can't deal with more copyright claims.
Guys, nice to meet you. I'm Leah, and this is Dying to Know. If you're dying to know what's going on in the world of Dying Light 2, then you're in the right place. Here we'll be showing you all the news, the latest from the Dying Light world. We'll be announcing a few contests, we'll be talking to developers, and probably most importantly, we're going to be showing you a brand new gameplay trailer where you can see the current state of the Dying Light 2 game. But first, there's someone here I need to introduce you to. It's Aiden Caldwell.
I'm a pilgrim, an outcast, roaming like a Japanese Ronin or an Old West desperado. My past is dark, but my future has a tiny, dying light.
Seriously?
At the end of this tunnel. Hello, guys. My name is Jonas Scott, and I voice Aiden Caldwell in Dying Light 2. But before that, I'm going to host this program with Leia.
I'm not sure how I
My
feel about
pleasure.
him now
Well, I'm ready.
because he sounded like an
Jonas
emo
definitely
kid right
ready,
into high school.
And I hope you're ready.
So if you're dying to know, just like us, then stick with us.
Hopefully he gets better from there.
The story told in Dying Light 2 occurs 20 years after the events of the first game. And if you're wondering what happened in those intervening 20 years, well, there's no better person to ask than the Dying Light 2 world director, Thomas Gabau, with who I'll be talking in just a moment.
And after that, I'll be speaking with Piet Jemenic, the narrative director of the game, about the characters that appear in Dying Light 2.
Welcome to the show, Thomas. So the first question I have for you today is, do I need to have played Dying Light 1 to sort of understand what's happening in Dying Light 2?
That's the same question they always ask.
You don't. Like you mentioned before, our game takes place some 20 years later, in a world where humankind has lost the war to the virus. So, in a way, you could say that Dying Light 2 takes us to the world beyond the apocalypse.
Intriguing. All right, tell me more, please.
Well, you remember the events of Heron in 2014. Well, after that, world leaders, they had a tough choice to make. They had to isolate the city of Heron.
Right.
For that, they created an exclusion zone. Like in Chernobyl, only a lot more people were left to die inside the walls.
Yeah, right. So they just isolated the entire city. And did it help? Did it stop the virus?
Yeah, for a while it worked.
There's the umbrella logo in the
enough for everyone
background.
to forget about it, at least.
I know it's
In
not, it's
secret,
just...
a handful of scientists continued to study the
I
virus.
mean, it kind of looks like it. I know.
Manipulating its DNA, creating new strains. They were looking for commercial military applications. So, they're doing it for the money, really.
Yeah, of course. So what happened next?
Well, next, the shit hit the fan. By Christmas 2021, one of these mutated strains escaped from a level 4 laboratory located near Geneva. We don't really know if this was accidental or not, but this time the virus was much faster than any government. Before the world could react, civilization was on the brink of collapse. People were dying in the streets, capital cities were burning. By the end of 2023, 98% of the population had been lost to the virus. There was a few settlements remaining, but only one city was still standing. The last bastion of mankind, our city, Villador, aka the city.
Right, so Villador is what we have left. So that's everything that's happened outside of the city. What actually happens inside Villador?
Well, the city has unique rules. First of all, it's surrounded by seemingly impassable walls. And inside the walls, the people decided to use a radical new weapon against the infection. which actually gave them the upper hand in the first stages of the pandemic.
Okay.
But it also created terrifying new monster archetypes. 15 years on, a new equilibrium.
So this was the
emerged
demo
in the
shown at
city.
E3. I remember
Daylight,
this.
Human factions fight to control the city, and at night, the streets become the realm of these bloodthirsty, infected monsters.
Great. Well, that is extremely interesting. Thank you very much, Thomas. And we'll be hearing more about the vibrant and fantastic city soon, I hope. But first, I think we need to hear a little bit more about the characters.
Our second guest is a man of two industries, cinema and gaming. In a previous life, he wrote the hit HBO series Wataha?
Wataha, yeah.
Wataha. And then he moved on to Techland to become a narrative director, Piotr Jamenek.
Hi, guys. Thank you.
So we have plenty of time to talk about the rest of the characters in Dying Light 2. There are tons of them. But today, I think we want to focus on Aiden Caldwell, the protagonist. You want to talk more about him? Or?
Yeah, sure. So, Aiden, he's the member of Outcasts, you know? The group of people traveling through this dangerous world of Dying Light 2 called pilgrims, because he's looking for his relative, the person whom he lost many, many years ago, and that person is his only memory from the past, and the only answer to whom Aiden really is.
Aiden is a really rich, deep character, very much cooler than I am.
Oh, no, come on.
I mean, he can run across buildings, jump from rooftop to rooftop, use all kinds of weapons.
Yeah, well, you know, he didn't have much choice. This world is full of infected, bloodthirsty creatures, so he didn't have much choice, right? The weak die, the strong survive, and Aiden, he just has to be strong. But why did he come like that? Why him? That's the main question of the game, and the player will have opportunity also to decide how
So
Aiden
why did he
will
lose
evolve.
his
Will
memory?
he help
Was he
the
hit
weak?
on the head or something?
Will it distract him from his
Like,
main goal?
I don't
or
know.
maybe he will just
I feel like the
strive
amnesia
to
cliche has
the
been
end
done
of
too
his
much.
search as soon as possible.
I can't imagine trying to survive or live in a city like that as a lone wolf by yourself without any kind of support.
Well, he's not gonna be alone, you know. He will meet many people. But again, depending on the player choices, some of them will become his allies, but some of them will become his enemies. One of the group he will encounter are the Night Runners, the former special force officers who were sick of the army's cynicism and lack of concern for common people. But they were brave enough to help the people during the night. And the night, as you know, is pretty horrifying in the game.
Yeah, so Aiden joins them, joins the Night Runners.
Oh, that's the question, my friend. The player will have to answer too. I won't spoil the pleasure of discovering Aiden's actions and true motivations, but what I can share with you is the fact that we really put big effort to make this character and many others complex and multidimensional. But there is so much more to be discovered during the game.
Oh, that's fascinating. Can't wait to learn more. Thank you so much, Piotr.
Thank you, thank you.
I mean, you're voicing the character. I think you know everything.
So before we watch the gameplay trailer of Dying Light 2 for the first time, we need to talk about something which is basically at the center of the Dying Light universe, which is
The community. Over the past few years, Dying Light has amassed over 23 million players and a 95% positive review rating on Steam.
which in Steam Talk is overwhelmingly positive, so bravo.
Yeah, we'd like to take a few seconds and thank you guys.
Thank you all for being on this journey with us. Thank you for sharing your love with others of Dying Light. And thank you for these great moments spent together. Dying Light 1 has some amazingly creative fans, which is fantastic, pardon the pun, because we're going to be starting a brand new contest which will combine your love of Dying Light with that same creativity.
With the release date of Dying Light 2 drawing ever closer, we'd like to extend our hand and invite you to make the community a little bit bigger. If you find yourself skilled in the ways of visual arts, writing, or costumes and cosplay, please join the Dying Light universe.
So check out dyinglightgame.com/contest, and if you win, there's a fantastic monetary prize on the line. But also, there's some other great rewards you could be in with a chance with winning as well.
Like Platinum Edition of Dying Light. Look at this. This is the finest edition of Dying Light ever made. This is the Platinum Edition of Dying Light. This has every bit of content ever released for Dying Light in one place. It's massive. I mean, look at it.
For those of you who haven't experienced Dying Light yet, we are introducing Dying Light 1 Platinum Edition. It's the biggest and most complete edition to have ever existed.
And we're offering it to you now at an historically low price. All the content, lowest price.
There's literally no better time to buy it than
what's
now.
that price?
And you can get it on Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation.
Get your Platinum Edition of Dying Light now. This
You
is the
kind of have to
best
say the
offer,
price
like,
when you say
ever.
lowest price.
I guess we don't have time to go over everything that's in the Platinum Edition, but it is everything. This is how it looks.
And I got copyright claim.
Okay, so I'm excited because you guys are in just a second gonna see the official gameplay trailer for Dying Light 2. And then after that, we're gonna interview some of the devs that made it possible.
So,
You
without further
didn't
ado,
give us the
here
price for
it
the
is.
game. I feel like that's something you need to
Hey,
tell the
everyone.
person.
We've been quiet for some time, since, like the rest of the world, we had some unforeseen hurdles to clear. But the wait is over. Let's dive into the open world of Dying Light 2.
So you can break your fall with zombies. That's actually very
The
effective.
last slice of Dying Light 2 showcased the mission from the main storyline.
You get after those fuckers.
You saw how your decisions influenced the narrative and notably changed the environment. This time, we want to give you a broader look at the game and a sneak peek at some of the things we'll be talking about in upcoming months. In Dying Light 2, you become Aiden Caldwell, an outsider trying to unravel a tangled mystery from his past. Its trail leads him to the city, probably the last bastion of mankind in the world.
Shit!
At first, you feel like this intense, brutal place will tear you apart. But then you meet the Night Runners, veteran survivors who help people in better days.
By the way, I'm Hakon.
You were a night runner. You used to help people, remember?
Night runners are gone. Finished. A myth.
So they're parkour masters.
And although it's not entirely clear you can trust them, you need allies in the dark. And these are the modern Dark Ages. It's been 15 years since the apocalypse.
Yeah, I
and the
knew
world
it. She
has
said
changed.
20 years. It's
The
15.
old civilization
I was
has
very
fallen.
confused. I didn't want to say anything because I thought I was wrong.
Built on its
15.
ashes. People fight desperately for scarce resources. Rules are broken, and weakness is punished.
She's innocent.
Three
Summary
factions
executions.
struggle for position in the city. Survivors pride themselves on being able to adapt to any circumstances and cobble together safe zones almost everywhere. Peacekeepers, loyal soldiers who want to impose their version of law and order and trample all in their path. Renegades, ex-prisoners serving their ruthless colonel, seeking to become sole rulers of the city.
Where is Waltz? Make him tell me.
Use these factions to reach your goal. Help or harm them to reshape the city to your liking. Just remember, each faction contains complex characters.
Nosy Parker, ain't ya? Got some kind of bad habit of yours?
So, will you follow cold calculation or your heart?
The Bazaar needs good people. help us and you'll find a home here.
Some in the
I
city
can take
offer
it from you.
no chance for an alliance. Bandits, outlaws, and common thugs live only to plunder and kill, plunging the streets into chaos. Yet, nightfall scares all of them equally. Darkness changes the rules of the world. As the light fails, monsters crawl out of hiding to prey on the poor souls caught outside the safety of UV rays. Hordes of infected pour into the streets like decaying lava. The deadly spawn of 15 years of mutation and evolution. Your only escape? Exploit the city's verticality and flee to the roofs. Though even there, you are never safe from swift and deadly virals. Or even greater threat.
Oh, the alphas.
Yet night brings opportunity as well. Nests rife with infected during the day now lie empty. To explore them, you must tread carefully. But those brave enough to face the terrors of the night can loot a jackpot.
Anderson.
Luckily, you have all the tools you need to survive. Your extraordinary parkour skills allow you to navigate even the most treacherous terrain.
I wonder if you can play as Faith from Mirror's Edge.
Parkour acrobatics to save your life. But often, you'll have to face your enemies head on. And then you have to be smart, resourceful, and determined. We've worked hard on the essence of our combat, making sure swinging a big, meaty weapon is fun, satisfying, and well executed. But even the most brutal fights can be tactical as well. You have multiple ways to hone your skills toward
nice,
the
a
gameplay
grappling hook.
style that suits you best.
Nice.
It's up to you if you focus mostly on mobility and parkour, or aggressive, blunt force combat, or a crafty approach where the tools you've created get the job done.
You
Every
speared
ability
someone.
you learn can be a game changer and possibly a new favorite move. Things move fast and quick in Dying Light 2. Each moment matters. Each move could mean triumph or defeat. Choose your actions and friends carefully. Everything you do in the city can reshape the gameplay environment, change the course of the narrative, and decide the fate of the city's residents.
Damn.
But most importantly, you decide your own fate as well.
You're about to turn.
Make sure to stay human.
Yeah, they revealed that in the E3 2019 trailer. Aiden's infected and he
An
needs constant supply of
extensive
antigen.
post-apocalyptic world. And I really like that divisiveness. You know, the life on the roof and then death on the streets.
Yeah, like the intensity of the day and the night cycle together.
It's almost like Dying Light 2 is two different games put together into one.
Yeah, like despite all
No.
the brutality going on the ground floor, there's something about like the rooftops and the plants.
It's
and stuff.
cozy.
Yeah, I kind of want to be there. But it
Okay.
does feel like every
You want to
decision is
be
vital,
in a
like, your
zombie
choices actually do have some
apocalyptic
consequences.
environment?
Choices and consequences are incredibly vital to
Okay.
Dying Light 2's gameplay. And we're going to interview some devs and talk about some other very vital
The
gameplay
game
mechanics.
looks really cool, but I don't know about these hosts.
Our next guest is Adrian Pizza. Hi.
Welcome, and that gameplay looked awesome. I know we can't wait to get our hands on it, but congrats.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like you guys have a very unique world and a very unique game. Where y'all get your inspiration from?
Very
That
unique
was
game.
Research. We did a deep dive into the history of our world, and we
Look,
found
it
repetitive
looks
patterns. We
incredible,
found
but
that people
very
use the same
unique.
behaviors in the past after the fall of civilization or after the fall of the nation that's supposed to be a backbone of our world. So our approach was super simple. We just copycat those behaviors and attitudes and show you how our world would look like after the fall. However, it's kind of obvious that the main reason that civilization fall is virus pandemic or eventually the economical collapse. Yeah, that's basically obvious thing. But it's even darker if you connect those things with the research we did at the beginning of the production. So people will question everything. They're gonna blame everything and everyone that's supposed to guide us in our lives every day. So they're gonna blame governments, they're gonna blame law, they're gonna blame science, or
Okay,
even
yeah.
religion. Some people might ask themselves that where was God when it happened to us, basically, you know? So
God said, screw you.
I feel that
You're on
all
your
of
own.
those things together creates the sensation that it's a giant step backward for our civilization.
So, Dying Light 2 has a subtitle, Stay Human. What does that mean?
Well, it's super hard to remember those values that makes us human, so like compassion or support. So the entire
We also have
field of those
violence
dark times
and
we have
destruction.
is a big test for everyone. And I think it's even harder test because to stay human, people would sacrifice what's the most important for them or sometimes risk their lives.
Wow, so that's like really intense. And there's like the obvious like double meaning to it, which is what I was thinking. Stay human, don't become a zombie.
Yeah, but one disclaimer, those are not zombies, you know? Those are infected people that turn to be a monster. They're just crossing a line, you know, and they're turning to be a monster, you know? Because in Dying Light, we all infected. Yeah, we all wearing this biomarker, you know, Aiden, you're wearing this, I'm wearing this. That's a watch, actually, but you know that, you know? So that's the thing. So the challenge is to not cross this line at all costs. So that's the biggest challenge of staying human in this meaning.
I see, yeah, not zombies.
Not zombies.
Not zombies.
At all.
People who've crossed the line.
So who's creating the
Well,
antigen,
fascinating.
though?
Thank you so much, Adrian. We're definitely going to be hearing from you
Like,
again
in order to
soon.
get the stuff,
Thank
in
you so
order to
much.
remain, you know, human. That's actually, I want to see what that is
We have
about.
with us Katarzyna Tarnacka, the environmental art director.
Hi.
And we have game designer Mihawk Dujak.
Hello.
So, choices and consequences. The player has to make a choice, and they have to experience or endure the consequences. What does that mean?
Basically, the whole system of choice and consequences is really, really complex. I would say the best way to describe it is that player is making the decisions based on 3 layers. First one are the choices that you do during the main story missions. And those big changes actually can change the whole game or even how the story ends. The second layer are choices that you do while the quests. And those choices can actually influence the mission itself. And the last one, the last layer is so-called city alignment system. And I, as an open world game designer, would like to focus on.
Please do, go on.
All right, so water and electricity are basically a key to survive in every world. By restoring it, player can not only unlock the water or electricity in the area, but he can also, based on his decision, assign it to one of the factions, which will influence how the district looks like or who's going to live inside of it. But it also, what is pretty more important for a player, unlock new tools for him, like unique tools for each factions, like car traps, zip lines, or a trampoline. That player can use in exploration to deal with bandits or infected, or simply to move faster through the city. So basically, based on your choices, you shape the game environment, which gives you a different experience every time you start a new game. And
Sounds cool.
what is worth mentioning here that Dying Light 2 is playable up to 4 co-op players. So you can host the game or join other players and see how their choices came up differently to your own.
Interesting.
And they explained this
One
at
thing I'm
E3
really curious about,
2019.
though,
Whoever's the
night
host
versus
player
day.
to
How does the
determines
gameplay
what
differ
goes
from the night and
into
the
that
day?
world.
Well, the short answer is that day is for humans and night is for the monsters. But to describe it a little bit better, I would say that during the day, humans, factions bandits
That's in
or
Mulan.
survivors scavenging
I
the
remember
city
that
and searching
place when I
for
went
some
to
scraps or
Italy.
someone who might have them. And this is the best time for a player to explore the city, meet its citizens, learn the stories, day-to-day agenda, or even simply help them in a quest or open world activities to survive those dark ages.
Yeah, and that sounds quite pleasant, but I'm guessing night changes everything.
Exactly, exactly. During the night, all the infected get out of the buildings, and compared to the Dying Light 1, the night is gonna be even more intense this time. Intense in terms of the amount of enemies, their new types, and new, more aggressive behaviors. And what is important, this time, night can mean also opportunity. An opportunity for the players who are courage and skilled enough to use the fact that all the infected are outside and buildings are accessible to explore them and search for the most valuable loot in the game.
Katarzyna, you're responsible for the post-apocalyptic look of the city. Can you tell us a little bit how about the city became to look that way?
Yes. I guess the important thing to realize is in 2025, a decision was made to use a chemical attack to stop the spread of the Haran virus. And the result is a tight ring of chemically active areas around the city. Some of the chemicals have gotten into the groundwater and spread under the surface, killing every living plant and every living thing in its reach. What it means for the city is that the street levels are virtually dead. The soil is unable to sustain any life, any plant, and the street level is a domain of the monsters, just decaying in every aspect.
Wow, so it sounds like there's just no healthy organic life down there at all.
Not really. The survival on the street level is pretty tough. So the common people are just visitors there. But the life prevailed. It moved up to the rooftops. And this is where the plants are flourishing and blooming in the post-apocalyptic landscape. And this is where people build and develop the new world of Dying Light 2, electricity producing windmills and safe zones for the player. And in a way, in a metaphorical sense, the rooftops are the new default ground floor, the level 0, and trip to the streets is, in a way, a trip underground, a -1 of sorts, just the corpse of a lost civilization.
Yeah, that's, to say the least. I can't imagine being a citizen living in that city, let alone being a player, and how challenging that's going to be.
Yeah, and hold that thought. Thank you very much for joining us today, but it's now time to introduce our next guests.
Who's our next guest?
With us now are Bartus and Peter. And guys, I have one question about the open world in Dying Light 2. How big is it?
It's pretty big.
We know that. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yes, of course. The map in Dying Light 2 is divided into 2 huge regions and several zones.
Okay.
There are plenty leftovers from the lost civilization for you to scavenge. But we didn't want our players to perceive the map only horizontally, so we see the map as a multi-level 3D world that supports your traversal and helps you solve parkour puzzles.
Yes, in-house we call it multi-layer open world exploration. And you know, the movement system from Dying Light 1, we remove every restriction from the player. You can move everywhere you want, how you want to do it. And when I think about it, I think that was a big challenge for us to create the geometry that supports all of that. And we did it, and I think we did it well. Doing the same thing in Dying Light 2 wasn't our goal. We want to make one or more step forward to surprise the player expectation. That's why we doubled the number of parkour moves.
Doubled, and I mean, it's not like there was a shortage in Dying Light 1, so what?
Yes, the iconic Dying Light 1 parkour is essential there. We improve it. We double the number of parkour moves. The players will see over 3,000 different parkour animations, from the basic move, through the tricks, to the small little tasty details there that you can see it.
Okay, well, unfortunately,
that does sound exciting.
I'm going to have to stop you there, but don't
I
hate
like
me
that
because
grappling
in the
hook
next
and the
episode,
wingsuit.
we're going to be talking more about parkour and how the team have managed to make an authentic urban running experience in Dying Light 2.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for the information. Bartosz, Peter, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so the last and arguably the most important question I'm sure you have is, when is the release date?
Yeah, that is a very, 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 very important question.
And luckily, we have the answer. And that answer is the 7th of December.
That's a really weird release date. But I mean, I'm
Now
glad
that
it's
we
coming
know
out this
the
year.
release date of the game, it's time for you to go pre-order it. Go to dyinglight.com/pre-order, select your platform, and then hit pre-order. And there you go. Congratulations. You just pre-ordered one of the most anticipated games of this year. Go you. Oh, wow. I want one.
Well, I've got good news for you.
Wow,
then,
that
because
actually
this
does
official
look pretty
figurine
sick.
is part of the collector's edition of Dying Light 2, and you can get one for
wow,
yourself if
that
you want.
actually does
Well,
look
it's
really
a
cool.
proper
Holy crap, it
unboxing
even
box
has,
set
like-
to the professionals, but we
Wow.
do have it all in front of us right now, so it'd be rude not to take a look. You get, in the collector's edition, a concept art book full of stunning artwork from the game. You get this steel book, which will have your game inside it, of course.
That looks
and you get
freaking
this,
awesome.
interesting little sort of UV flashlight. So yeah.
I actually have that.
Looks like there's all sorts of vanity elements in here too, like some legendary skin packs, as well as all sorts of digital elements. And for more information on these digital elements, please visit the pre-order website. I want this.
Wow, that
I want
actually
that.
does look pretty
I thought you'd
sick.
say that. Well, if you're feeling the same way, then I've got good news because you can pre-order the collector's edition. However, it is very, very limited, so you'll have to be very quick.
Rest assured, there will be plenty of the standard edition for your standard gamer, but if you're into special editions, there is a deluxe edition of Dying Light 2 with a steel book, legendary pack, and a digital soundtrack, and much, much more.
So to summarize, that's 3 different editions that you can buy depending on what you're after. And if you just can't wait until release to get immersed in the world of Dying Light 2, then why don't you go check out the Techland Gamers and Goodies website for more info.
Yeah, this is a program for all gamers, whether or not you want updates on Dying Light 2 with the news, or you want Dying Light 2 items in Dying Light 1. Everyone's gonna find something they like there.
Yep, and this is just an initial offering as well. Check back later for even more details, more information, and we'll be going through it in future episodes as well.
That's it. Don't forget to pre-order the game and take part in our contests. The details are on the game's website.
And here's a sneak peek at the topic of the next episode. Thank you for watching, and stay safe out there.
Well, you just told us it's going to be on parkour. They didn't show anything. They just showed the clips that we already saw. Okay. Is that it? It's still going, so, okay. Let's see what this trailer is, and then we'll discuss. Stay Human trailer.
Hey everyone! We've been quiet for some time, since, like the rest of the world, we had some unforeseen hurdles to clear. But the wait is over. Let's dive into the open world of Dying Light 2. The last slice of Dying Light 2 showcased the mission from the main story.
Wait, are we just seeing this again? One second, I just
saw-
want to skip ahead to see if we're seeing the same thing again. Yeah, it's the same thing that we saw here with the Be Human trailer. So let's just discuss what we saw. So, a lot of promising aspects. I wasn't really into the whole exchange between the host and the developers. They kind of were more pattern than actual information. But the trailer that they provided with us, this one, the Stay Human trailer, gave us a lot of things to be excited for. I'm definitely looking forward to the updated parkour moves. And I'm looking forward to the new Infected will fight. The whole narrative experience is going to look incredibly diverse. Again, they promised a lot at E3 2019, considering they hired people from The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and they went into depth about how the narrative will change based on what the player chooses. The environment will change, how resources are distributed, how the survivors will be treated. It's a lot of great examples of how the player has basically absolute control in the environment, similar to Commander Shepard in Mass Effect, how you will determine how everyone survives in this world. The weakest link within the story right now is Aiden. They're kind of going with the cliche route with the amnesia. I don't know who I am. I'm searching for this relative who knows who I am. I mean, we'll see if that becomes something incredibly more profound as the game goes, as we play the game. But for now, it does seem like they're I guess they're holding back information. Maybe that was their point. They wanted to give us as limited information about Aiden as possible, but he doesn't really seem that great. And I really didn't like his introduction here. I think, let's go find it. Not that. Let's see. Like this. I like, let's just hear this again. Like the way he's introduced.
To introduce you to. It's Aiden Caldwell.
I'm a pilgrim, an outcast, roaming like a Japanese Ronin or an Old West desperado. My past is dark, but my future has a tiny, dying light at the end of this tunnel.
Like, it was so cringe. Like, you're not alone. You have people who are helping you. You don't remember anything about your past, so how can it be dark about that? Like, oh my god. I really hope that's not really him, and that was just the voice actor trying to be as, like, I guess, edgy as possible. I mean, you can be edgy, but make it tasteful? I mean, I would just laugh at that type of dialogue. I'm a Ronin. I'm a Japanese Ronin. I'm like, okay? That was funny, but the gameplay definitely looks great. The parkour elements look fantastic. I just really hope that's not what Aiden is really like. I hope he's a little different. I hope they're just doing a bit there. But we'll have to wait and see. The game does come out on December 7th for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, next generation systems, and PC. And it does look promising, but we'll have to wait and see. I want to give Techland the benefit of the doubt, but with so many AAA games launching broken, I don't know. I really hope this game doesn't launch broken, because with open world games, you're going to have glitches. That's just natural, but I really hope we don't have another, like, Cyberpunk 2077, or Marvel's Avengers, or Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed Unity, and the list just keeps going on and on. Please launch it like in an okay state. Please, that's all I'm asking. Launch it in an okay state. But I am excited for it. And you can pick up Dying Light 2 Dying Light 1, not Dying Light 2. Dying Light 1 right now if you want to give it a shot. I do give it my recommendation, even though I've said that the core game isn't that great. You really want to play it with the following expansion. It's so much better when you played with the following expansion. In fact, it's so much better than the core game in my opinion. Again, my own opinion, I like the following expansion more than I like the core game in almost every avenue, with the exploration, the enemies, the narrative in general. But we'll have to wait and see. So there's the video. Please check out my reaction to House of Ashes that just came out. It's brand new gameplay footage for the Dark Pictures anthology that's set to release soon, and it looks great too as well. So till then, thanks for joining me, leaving a like on this video because they did a good job, and I'll see you all next time. Stay awesome, everyone.